Welcome to this explainer on navigating the later stages of financial planning. Today, the focus is squarely on life insurance for seniors, and this information is being presented on behalf of Golden Shield Life Insurance. Figuring out these options can definitely feel a bit complicated at first glance, but breaking the details down visually really helps clarify the concepts. So what exactly is senior life insurance? Well, it is really important to note that this is not just one single product. Instead, it is essentially a market label used for a handful of different policies that are generally sold to applicants aged 50 and older. The basic concept is pretty much the same across the board, but what actually changes as an applicant ages is the availability of specific policies, the size of the benefit, and of course, the price. Age is actually the biggest factor that moves the price. To give a sense of this, look at the average monthly costs for a $10,000 final expense policy for non-tobacco applicants. For a woman at age 55, the average is about $36 a month and $46 for a man. Jumping to 65, it is about $50 for women and $66 for men. At 75, the averages are about $87 for women and $113 for men. And then at 85, it hits about $155 for women and $203 for men. Now, these figures are based on June 2026 data from MoneyGeek. It is absolutely crucial to note that these figures are illustrative only, and they are not an offer of coverage. Looking closely at the data, the absolute sharpest price jump actually happens right between ages 75 and 80. In just that 5-year window, average costs rise by about 44 to 45%. That steep climb really illustrates why timing plays such a major role when considering submitting an application for coverage. Moving on, there are 4 main types of coverage to understand here. First up is term life, which covers a set period, like 10 to 20 years, and is generally available up to about age 75. Then there is whole life, which is permanent coverage lasting for life, with issue ages commonly running up to around 85. Final expense is another permanent option, just a smaller policy that generally requires no medical exam. And finally, guaranteed issue policies ask no health questions at all, usually accept applicants between 50 and 85, and generally require no exam. There is a really common misconception out there that avoiding a medical exam means avoiding underwriting entirely. To clear that up, a no-exam policy simply means no blood work or in-home nurse visits. However, simplified issue policies may still review a person's prescription records and health history. Actually, only guaranteed issue policies skip the health questions completely. Insurance companies often still review backgrounds, meaning approval is always subject to underwriting. This next timeline is perhaps the most important concept to grasp when looking at waiting periods and graded benefits. Because guaranteed issue policies ask zero health questions, the insurance company takes on a significant amount of unknown risk. They literally have no way of knowing the applicant's current health status. So to manage that risk and remain financially stable, they limit payouts in the early years of the policy. If a natural death occurs during the first 2 years, the policy generally returns the premiums paid into it, plus an added interest amount, which is commonly around 10%. It does not pay the full face amount. It is usually only upon reaching year 3 that the full face amount becomes payable for natural death. Taking the time to understand this timeline is really the cornerstone of purchasing guaranteed issue coverage. Because of these graded benefits, there is one very specific, critical question every single applicant should ask out loud before signing anything. That question is, if death occurs during the first 2 years, exactly how much will the beneficiary receive? Getting a clear answer to this specific detail prevents unexpected surprises later on. Another really important factor is knowing what a low advertised price actually buys. A lot of widely advertised senior policies are sold in units of coverage rather than set dollar amounts. So a low price like $9.95 a month often buys just one single unit. Depending on an applicant's age and state, that one unit might only equal a very small benefit. It absolutely does not automatically buy a $10,000 policy. Reaching a set $10,000 benefit often requires purchasing 8 or more of those units. Health conditions obviously play a major role, but they affect applications in very different ways. Conditions like controlled high blood pressure, high cholesterol, treated sleep apnea, and type 2 diabetes without complications are often manageable with health questions. On the flip side, conditions like insulin use with complications, current cancer treatment, prescription oxygen, and dialysis usually need much more careful placement. As always, approval and pricing are strictly subject to underwriting rules, which can vary significantly depending on the company. Determining just how much coverage is necessary is pretty straightforward with a simple formula. For those in retirement, replacing an income may no longer be the primary goal. Instead, simply add up what would actually be owed, such as funeral costs, final medical bills, and any small debts. Next, subtract what is already available, like savings or current coverage. The resulting number is the coverage gap. Sizing a policy directly to that specific number can really help keep premiums comfortable over time. Finding the right policy often involves looking at multiple options. Golden Shield Life Insurance is an independent life insurance broker, comparing more than 130 insurance companies rated A- or better by AM Best. Aaron Paulk serves as a licensed agent under NPN 21216745. The main office is located at 1954 Airport Road in Atlanta, Georgia, and can be reached by phone at 678-884-4653.
Wrapping up, please take a moment to review this mandatory disclaimer. This explainer is educational information, not financial, legal, or tax advice. Rates shown are illustrative third-party averages, not quotes. Availability, pricing, and issue ages vary by insurance company and state. Additionally, Golden Shield Life Insurance does not promise approval, and they do not guarantee anyone will qualify. This concludes the explainer on navigating life insurance for seniors.